DA Parliamentary Chief Whip Siviwe Gwarube has become one of the 32 cabinet members under the new government of national unity, as announced by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Gwarube will occupy the Ministry of Basic Education with the ANC's Regina Merwe as her deputy minister. Let's get reaction to this appointment from Deputy CEO of the Federation of Governing Bodies in South Africa, Dr Jaune. Dr. Van der Merwe, thank you so much for joining us on Daytime Update. Now, you've welcomed the appointment of the DA Siviwe Gwarube as the Minister of Basic Education. Tell us why.
Yes, well, I think that we do believe that our newly appointed minister's leadership can be the beginning of a new era in South African education, and we trust that she will truly commit herself to addressing the challenges that we are facing in education in South Africa. And yeah, it's also our hope that her tenure will also be characterized by her very decisive action against the systemic issues that we also face in our education system, specifically when we look at the poor learning outcomes that we have faced lately. So yeah, from FETS's side, we truly look forward to working with our new minister and to implementing new plans with her to improve the quality of education. A new minister, I do believe, will bring a new fresh breath of air. We've had Minister Machega for a very, very long time, and she's done terrific in her term, but we do believe that this new energy that we hope to see that will come forth would truly bring changes for us in our new education system.
So mostly because it's something new as well, a breath of fresh air, as you're saying, Dr. Van der Merwe. But is there anything specific when you heard that it will be Siviwe Gwarube, who is the DA's chief whip in Parliament, where you thought, oh, I like her, we can work with her because of this work that she's done or these qualifications that she has?
Yes, well, I think we saw her strong leadership the last couple of years in the work that she has done and that she was busy with. I think we should be realistic about the fact that she doesn't have a lot of experience in the education system specifically. But I do believe that if we look at the strong leadership that she has, that would definitely count for her being a strong minister. I do believe, and that's perhaps something we hope to see, is for her to form a strong and rely on the experts that would advise her going forward, to rely on the different stakeholders in the education sector who do have the expertise. If there's one form or a little bit of critique on her currently being appointed newly in that specific position, is the fact that she doesn't have a lot of experience in the education sector. But we do believe that her strong leadership will definitely make up for that if she surrounds her with the experts, and also with the Deputy Minister Regina being appointed. Once again, we truly believe that she has strong support upon which her leadership would bring the necessary change.
Yeah. Dr. Van der Merwe, you also were mentioning systematic challenges that we know we still have in our schooling systems as well. When we think of rural schools too, where there's still pit latrines in some of those schools, problems with scholar patrol and transport as well to get to some schools too, for many scholars in the country as well. What do you think the minister should hit the ground running with? For you, as your organization, what is top priority, your top three?
Yes, well, I think first of all, it is very clear what the biggest challenges are that we are currently facing in the education sector. So I think for us, the important thing would be to go back to the basics. We've seen the last couple of years that the reading skills of learners is not up to standards. We've saw the false report indicating that 81% of our grade 4th learners cannot read. So we hope to see that the minister will place a strong foundation, a strong focus on the foundation phase, and also look at the catch-up programs that we need in that regard. Also, very importantly, is the performance of our educators. I think it's important for the minister to also focus on the teacher training and support. We hope to see that she will be implementing rigorous and continuous professional development program. And then, of course, the where we so desperately need to address those infrastructural issues, as you have pointed out, where we see that learners' right to education is not being realized due to the core basics of not having sufficient textbooks, not having infrastructure, not having flushing toilets. So that's the back to basic things we believe that the minister should definitely start with, to start addressing those issues, and then we can look at building a more stronger education system.
And, you know, as you're speaking about those basics that we need to get right as well, there are also others who have said that, look, we don't have faith, we don't have trust that someone who is from the Democratic Alliance will be able to do this. For instance, SADTU has said they have concerns about the appointment of the DA Siviwe Gwarube as the Minister of Basic Education. And I want to play you this clip, Dr. van der Merwe, so that you can hear what they have to say about this appointment and your reaction to that.
We have acknowledged that the president has the prerogative to appoint whoever they want to appoint. However, we must say that this is an affront for the appointment of Siviwe because in the manifesto of the DA is creating a narrative based obviously on ideologies that the DA believes in, that SADTU is a stumbling block to quality education, and therefore the appointment of a DA minister who does not believe in transformation, who does not believe in equity, who does not believe in the ingrained and meshed narrative, which is very deficit in terms of the student achievement, and only understanding that students achieve because they must work very hard, and not understanding that opportunities and the environment is very important for those particular students.
Yeah, well, you heard that clip over there, and then also adding that the DA has no interest in addressing challenges faced by black teachers as well. What's your reaction to hearing what SADTU has to say about this appointment?
Yes, well, I think first of all, I think it's a bit early to judge the newly appointed minister. I think we, all South Africans, and also hopefully with the support of the unions as well, should give her a proper opportunity to prove herself. And in the end, I know education is not about politics. It's about the best interest of the child, and that must remain the ultimate goal. And all role players, including the minister as well as SADTU, must pursue this objective. And we truly believe that the minister, newly appointed minister, will definitely have that aim and will work towards that specific aim, to work towards an environment that will prioritize all learners, and to achieve that cooperation between the different role players is definitely important. So I think it's important for the minister to engage in constructive dialogue between herself, the department, and the different unions, school governing bodies as well, to ensure that everyone is on the same page, that everyone knows that we're working towards serving the best interest of all learners, and not just learners of a specific grouping. So I think that's important. We should not lose sight of that, and I do truly believe that the minister will set her aims on working towards an environment that is conducive and that will promote the best interests of all learners in the country, and not just specific groupings of learners in South Africa.
When we look at the history of South Africa as well, and how the education system has actually been a disadvantage for certain groupings as well, and let's be specific for black people, when you're saying that, yes, of course it must be for all learners, but there are areas that need more attention than others. As you were speaking, there were visuals there of a school that I'm presuming is in a township or a rural area. Those schools don't have the proper resources and infrastructure. They need far more attention than perhaps a former Model C or a private school would need. So shouldn't there be actually, yes, far more interest on those who don't have the access that others do?
Absolutely, definitely, Martha. I think that was one area that our previous minister did not get there yet in addressing all of those greater issues that we have been facing over the last 30 years or so. So definitely it would be required of our new minister looking at the holistic picture to look at the best interests of all learners. And definitely, if we want to address the needs of all learners, we will definitely need targeted interventions for vulnerable learners. And there is definitely, we'll have to see how the minister would, for instance, use technology to, for instance, bridge education gaps that there might be, and just address those basic things such as infrastructural issues that we are currently facing. So I believe that if the minister were to focus on those issues and to implement those targeted interventions, we can create an education system that will equip every learner in South Africa to achieve and to reach their full potential.
Another contentious issue when it comes to education in South Africa has always been the matric pass rate. And of course, lowering that percentage as well and seeing an increase in the matric pass rate, kind of giving a false hope of the actual situation and the actual picture of what's going on in our education system. What are you hoping the new minister will do when it comes to this particular problem?
Yes, well, first of all, yeah, I think every year we celebrate the matrics and the results, and not at all to take anything away from those learners that have truly given the best and has truly shown that they are performers in our education system. But I think the reality is that we are currently sitting with the sector where we see the data from the polls results, where we see the data from the ANA tests, that international tests that indicate to us that our lower grading learners cannot read. And therefore, I truly believe if we want to see better matric results at the end of the day, with a proper pass rate bar being set higher, we truly need to start to address these other core issues, which is the fact that our lower grade learners cannot read properly. But furthermore, we also saw that Minister Angie Motshekga, just before her term ended, she also launched that mother tongue education initiative. And we truly see that we see greater results when learners are being taught in their own mother tongue. So that is hopefully something we will see the new minister will be building on that, because that's when we will truly see the results being better. So if we start to get those basics right, that's when we'll truly start to see the end results being better matric pass rates with, well, hopefully university bachelor pass rates for all.